Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. During his performance on Dancehall Night at Reggae Sumfest 2023, upcoming artist Bayka was arrested for using expletives during his performance. While Bayka was not the only actor to use bad words in his set, he was the only one who continued unabated, even after the police issued a message to him via the NC that should he continue, he would be arrested and charged. Following Bayka's arrest, some of his fans took to social media to complain that the police had targeted him and treated him unfairly because over the years, many artists including superstars had used expletives on stage and had gotten away with it. While it is true that many stars have used expletives at Sumfest and had gotten away with it over the years, it is also true that many top acts have been arrested for using expletives on stage. In fact, the incident in which recording star Alozade fought with a police officer inside the Montego Bay RM court and was sent to prison for it all started with him using expletives at Sumfest and being charged by the police. In this edition of Lest You Forget, I will be looking back at that 2001 incident in which bad words and badness ruled supreme at Sumfest, resulted in the arrest of 7 artists. In looking back at that unfortunate incident, I will be drawing heavily from a story I wrote for The Gleaner, which was published on the 3rd of August 2001 under the headline Chaos at Sumfest. The story read as follows. Reggae Sumfest hit an all-time low this morning as what started out as a war of words between DJs Bounty Killer and Beenie Man erupted into a full-scale war, forcing Dancehall Night patrons to flee in panic as missiles and gunshots rained at the Catching Hall venue. This is absolute madness. This is complete stupidity, said an obviously scared journalist as he gingerly made his way towards the exit at the Catching Hall Entertainment Center. This is madness. The end came at approximately 6:05 a.m. when battles came raining down on Merciless and his entourage, the War family, who were summoned on stage after Bounty Killer cut his performance short when Beenie Man, who had performed earlier, walked on the stage while he was in full flight. As Merciless and his entourage fled the stage, the VIP and press section became a sea of panic as members of the media fled in panic, trying desperately to find a safe haven. In the middle of the melee, things got even worse as gunshots erupted in the main viewing area, sending those patrons fleeing in all directions. It was quite obvious that trouble was brewing when Beenie Man, clad in a military-style camouflage outfit, took the stage shortly after 4 a.m. and immediately declared that a war may come for. After reeling off a long list of unsavory remarks about Bounty Killer, he was joined on stage by Kitty Power, Shatta, Mr. Vegas and Lexus, who all took turns cussing out the killer. After failed attempts to lure Bounty Killer to clash with him, Beenie Man reeled off a string of hits such as Straight Prison, Gunshot in the Ear and Live It Up, before declaring that "I know this me come here for" and exited the stage. The war of words continued when Bounty Killer took the stage at 5:14 a.m. against a backdrop of an expletive-laced soundbite from the movie Belly and promptly declared, "People dead!" With his ominous black outfit adding to his mystique, he proceeded to chastise Beenie Man, Lexus, Mr. Vegas, and even the technical crew, who he accused of sabotage when the volume on his microphone dropped. With Bounty Killer in full flight and declaring that he was about to expose the contents of his rival's scandal bag, a seemingly angry Beenie Man walked onto the stage and took a seat. An equally angry Bounty Killer immediately asked him to leave the stage, declaring that "Me not working with no Beenie Man." However, with Beenie Man holding his ground, Bounty Killer stormed off the stage. A few seconds later, a smiling Beenie Man walked off as well. There was a minor skirmish behind the stage as supporters of the two acts traded insults and threats. After a brief lull and a band change, Merciless took the stage at approximately 5:45 a.m. and immediately cleared his intention to join the war of words. With his war family clad in matching army fatigue standing behind him, he launched into a verbal tirade, making crude remarks about Bounty Killer. It was while unleashing the song "Them a Call Up Me Name" that all hell broke loose as battles came raining down on the stage. In the ensuing panic, gunshots were fired as promoters, musicians and patrons all ran for cover. When the melee finally ended, relief patrons speedily filed out of the venue. After the show ended, 7 artists, Beenie Man, Bounty Killer, Merciless, Cham, Elephant Man, Alozade and Kip Rich were all charged under the Tone and Community Act, which carries a fine of $2,000 or 30 days in jail if found guilty. The local artists were not the only acts that were singled out for legal action by the police. Summonses were also issued for the United States-based international rapper Snoop Doggy Dogg and Ja Rule, who both used the F-word repeatedly in their performances on International Night. While it was basically an uneventful situation for the other artists who, when they appeared in court, paid their fines and went on their way, it was a much different situation for Alozade, whose real name is Michael Sterling. During his court hearing, he became boisterous and aggressive, and attempts by the police to restrain him resulted in a fight in which he threw blows. After he was restrained, he was slapped with additional charges and then remanded in custody. At his subsequent trial, Alozade was sentenced to 9 months in prison for the incident inside the courthouse. In looking back at the 2023 incident with Bayka and the 2001 incident with Alozade, it is clear that using expletive at Sumfest could carry serious consequences. However, in reflecting on that 2001 incident, it was clearly one of those unforgettable nights in the history of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freitas. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.